to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the War Room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And I am back once again. It is Saturday afternoon, and I am tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And tonight it is just going to be me. Everyone else was busy. They had graduation parties, they had family stuff. I get it. Today was a big day over here in the part of Idaho that I live in. There's a big celebration they do every year, and they unfortunately could not do it last year, so everyone is out there today. It's called Western Days. It's a bunch of festivities, a big parade, kind of just a great big local event. So you have just got me. And I will jump in here and I will apologize for last weekend. I did not do a podcast. Everyone was busy once again, and I thought, it's Memorial Day weekend. I had some stuff going on. I thought maybe I'd push it till Sunday, and then the next thing I know, Sunday came and passed and still no podcast. And I thought, well, I'll just do it on Monday. And then Monday came and went and still no podcast. So there you go. Sometimes I do them. Sometimes I don't do them. I try to be pretty regular, but sometimes I get tied up doing other stuff. So I appreciate your patience with me, and I appreciate all those that still download the podcast and listen, and those that let me know that you listen. I really do appreciate that as well. It's kind of interesting. I've been doing this thing for, I don't know. I would have to look back, right? 3 years, 4 years, something like that. And I also do a radio show on the weekends. Now, this isn't my first journey, behind a microphone. I used to actually have my own radio show on one of the local country music stations here in town, and I used to do my own radio show on Saturday evenings, and then it switched to Sunday mornings. And I'm pretty used to talking behind a mic. But it's really weird because even tonight, and those of you that are listening that maybe you normally watch, I'm not doing Facebook Live tonight. It's just me, and I'm not Facebook Live, excuse me. Haven't done that for a while since they banned me. I'm not doing YouTube Live this evening. 'Cause sometimes I just get a lot of stuff going on here, and it's just a little much, and I figure it's nice weather and everyone's probably out doing other stuff anyhow. So you're just going to get the audio version tonight. I do apologize. But as I sit down and do this, and even though I know this is just being recorded, right, and I can go back and edit it, which I don't really like doing. I can do it. It's just time consuming, but I can go back and edit all this. I get nervous. Every time I sit down to push the record button. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because sometimes I'm poorly planned. Well, let's be honest. Most of the time I'm kind of poorly planned when I do this. But honestly, I think that's what keeps it fun, is just kind of, scratching some notes down on a piece of paper, and it is what it is. I never thought I'd earn $1 million doing this, and I'm obviously not earning even $5 doing this. I did get a good tip today in my class. Someone gave it to me. He was a podcast listener, and he told me to put it toward the podcast. So there you go. I made a few bucks today, and I was appreciative of that. But I still get nervous when I push the record button. I don't know why. And when you're doing the podcast, and I'm doing it right now, and I'm thinking ahead. What am I going to say next? What am I going to say next? I'm like, this is not going to sound good. And then I listen to it later on, and you know what? It's okay. It sounds okay. So you're just going to listen to me ramble tonight. That's pretty much what the show's going to be about. I got a few things I want to talk about, some audio clips I want to play. I got a longer audio clip, which I've set up to pause and talk about as we go through it. But I'll start with the small stuff. It's been pretty slow around here lately. I think it's just because it's springtime. We got graduations. We got stuff going on. I mean, I had a permit class today, and I had an okay amount of people. It's probably one of the smallest classes I've had in a long time, and I'm not complaining. I'm appreciative of all the people I get coming out and taking classes from me. I do appreciate that. The private classes have been a little slow, and I'm pretty sure it's just because people have a lot going on, vacations. Like I said, graduations, graduation parties, summertime, people are starting to camp. At least that's what I'm telling myself, to be honest with you, this is the first business, first business I've actually owned myself, right? I always would go and work for the man. I always go work for somebody else. And, it's a different thing. We talked about it before. I don't make a ton of money at this. I make it enough to survive, and I really enjoy it, and that's why I keep doing it. But when you have a slow week, right, I can only mow the lawn so many times, which I do include that part of the business, but I can only mow the lawn so many times. And it's just, I don't know, you kind of get in your head and you're like, no, it's over. My dream's crashing down around me. But then you get a few people to sign up for classes, and it is what it is, right? I shouldn't say this because this is my business, but I'd almost do this for free. Literally, I can be worried to death and not have any classes, which for 3 weeks, which has never happened, but I have not have any classes for 3 weeks, and all of a sudden do a class, and a very minimal class, just a basic safety class, and I am on top of the world. I love teaching this stuff. I love helping people. I love seeing the smile on their faces. I really do enjoy helping people, and which is kind of weird because I never considered myself to be much of a people person, but I guess if it's something you're passionate about, it works, it comes out, right? So anyhow, that's just some of my inner thoughts from this week. What I should do is I should fire up this microphone every time I get some of those thoughts during the week, like, oh no, nobody's signing up for classes. What am I going to do? My wife's going to make me go get another job, and frankly, I can't even stand the thought of actually going and working for someone else. So yeah, I have to make this work. It doesn't matter. So anyhow, I did have a class today. We'll get back to that. I did have a permit class today, and it wasn't the warmest day we've had so far. Our weather's kind of weird, but it was pretty warm today. We had a nice breeze, so that worked out okay. It was nice outside. It was a smaller class, great class, lots of questions. Everyone shot really, really well, and we got them through the 8-hour class, and they are off to now apply for their Idaho Enhanced Concealed Carry Permits, and that is what it is all about. I do want to mention, and I have mentioned this numerous times before, and people don't know, and it's not a rude thing, it's just I shake my head because one of the questions I get more often than not, and I almost laugh whenever I hear it anymore, and it's just people being curious, but are you law enforcement? Are you prior military? No, I'm not. You mean you do this full time? And yeah, I do. One lady, she's a great gal. She had a great class with her, but she's like, so you don't do this just full time, do you? I'm like, yeah, I do. I know it's hard to believe, but I do it full time. And are you military? Are you law enforcement? Nope, I'm not. And people look at me like, you don't have to be military. You don't have to be law enforcement to actually teach a firearms class, to teach firearms instruction. Okay, we'll get that out there. I know I've hammered on that in the past, but I just shake my head and smile, right? I mean, what is it? Is it the world we live in that if you're into firearms, if you teach firearms, does the way the world is, maybe it's the way what the government puts out there, that mentality that you have to be law enforcement, you have to be military to deal in firearms of some sort. Is that a thing? I don't know. It is what it is. I'm not military. I'm not law enforcement. I teach it because I'm passionate about it. I enjoy it. And, I love the people that I meet in my classes. And I actually had an interesting class this week. I had a gal sign up about 2 months ago, month and a half ago, something like that. She signed up. She wanted to learn how to draw her firearm, right? She wanted to learn how to draw her firearm and shoot her firearm. So let's do it, right? She's taken a permit class from me, and I knew she knew the basics. And so she showed up, and it'd been a while since I'd seen her. She'd taken a permit class from me almost a year earlier. And she shows up, and I noticed there's something a little different about her. And she she looks at me, and she's smiling, and she goes, yeah, I probably should have disclosed this before, but I'm pregnant. And I said, yeah, I can tell you're pregnant. And I said, do you want to proceed with the class? I mean, we're going to be outside. I'm not too worried about lead. I'm not too worried about anything like that. If it was an indoor range that I used, I'd be way concerned about the loud noise and way concerned about the stuff that you're breathing in, right? The fumes and whatnot. But we're outside, so I didn't worry about that. But I'm like, you going to be able to holster this gun? Can you wear a holster right now? And I'm not picking on her. I was like, can you wear a holster? And she goes, well, I got this holster and I've got this belt and, I looked at her, and so this getting a little, almost a little personal, but I'm just looking at her, and I'm like, you know what? I have a wife that I've had. She's had 5 kids. We've had 5 kids together. I said, 2 of my daughters have had babies. Right? I'm a grandpa. I said, those pants you're wearing, it's a little off the gun topic, but I was like, they're maternity pants. I know they don't have belt loops. And she's like, yeah, you're right. They don't. I said, so what's going on? She goes, well, I got this belt and it's pretty sturdy. And, sorry about that. I'm not even going to edit that out. I don't even care. That's allergies. But, she's like, I got this belt. I'm just going to like put it around my waist and see if it'll hold this holster. We'll just ride it a little high. You know what? I said, you know what? You're here. Let's try it. Right. She got the belt. She put the belt on. She attached her holster. You know what? It worked. It was funny looking because you're used to it being around, and through the belt loops and what, but it worked. And I'm so proud of her. And we spent a lot of time in the classroom, doing it with what I call the finger gun, doing the draw steps. And we also went to use her firearm unloaded. So it was a dry unloaded gun, no magazine, no ammo present. And she did that. And then we went outside and we did some real basic drawing and shooting. Now, we didn't do any shooting and moving or anything like that. I mean, she is with child, right? I mean, moving around might be a little rough. But she learned to draw and fire that gun just fine. It was absolutely fantastic. I just love the ingenuity, and if you want to learn something like that bad enough, you will find a way to do it. It's interesting because I get a lot of people that take the permit class, and we've talked about it before. I never see them again, right? They don't come back for anything, and that's fine. You do you, but I mean, go out and practice, learn some stuff. Well, if you're going to have to use that firearm in a defensive situation, marksmanship and safety and fundamentals are all super, super important. Don't get me wrong. But one of the, sorry, I keep doing that, folks. It's like I said, I got these cottonwood trees around my house. It's driving me nuts. But back to it here. Safety fundamentals, all that stuff is a very, very important. But, you probably need to know how to draw your firearm. Think about it. That's what, in my mind, that's one of the more dangerous things you can do, right? Especially if you do it improperly. It's one of the more dangerous things I can teach. That's why it takes so long, and we dedicate at least one class, which honestly, I think probably 2 classes. Most people come back for a second one, right? They go home, they practice what they learn, and we go through it again for a second class. But that's one of if you're going to carry a gun, you have to know how to access that firearm. You have to know how to do it safely. You have to know how to draw it up out of the holster, the efficient way to do it, the efficiency of movements. You got to know how to draw it without pointing it at yourself. A lot of people tend to draw the firearm and they'll cant it in and they'll point it at their midsection all the way around. They'll forget to drop that elbow or torque that gun so when you pop it out of your holster, it jumps forward, right? It flips forward, barrel going down range or barrel pointing forward. And they don't do that. And when they bring that gun around, they're pointing that barrel right at their midsection, all the way around their abdomen, their pelvic girdle, all the way around to their groin. And it's kind of a scary deal. And you know what? She even said, as I'm teaching her to draw, she's like, well, there's way more to this than I thought. I said, you're dang right there is. There's a lot to this. When you say learn how to draw a gun, I can draw from the holster. Yeah, but can you do so safely, efficiently? Can you get on target quick? There's a lot of different things you don't want to do. No bowling, no fishing. If you've ever learned to draw, you will know what that is. You want to efficiently move that gun, punch that gun out toward the target, bring it up on line of sight. You don't want to go above it or below it. So no bowling, no fishing. There's certain ways to do different things. There's certain things you have to think of. Get your support hand out of the way. Get it up there on your chest so you can quickly get your support hand on that firearm and push that gun out with both hands attached. Keep that gun out of the way. That's one of the things I see. I see people racing their strong hand with their support hand to get onto that gun, and they end up beating their strong hand with the gun. They end up beating it with their support hand, and they run that support hand right in front of that gun. They pass in front of a loaded gun, right? Not good. I mean, that's one of the safety rules. And so There's all kinds of stuff like that we discussed. Then we learn about how moving, right? Not only can you draw from a static standing position, which is what we start because you don't want to throw a lot at somebody, but then you teach to draw, and as you draw, you're gonna figure out what's your defensive stance, because as you draw that firearm, you're gonna get into that defensive stance, and how you do that actually helps you get the handgun free from the holster, right? You might step back with your right leg, and that's actually going to help you. And you're drawing the gun, you're stepping back. That's actually going to help you get that gun out of that holster a lot more efficiently. There's stuff like that we can talk about. How do I get the gun up safely? And then how do I get those sights on targets? What do I do? What distance am I shooting? What am I looking at? What do I do after I draw the gun and take one shot? Well, then we got to talk about other things like, do you know what trigger reset is? Do you know where the reset on that trigger is? Do you know how that works? Learn the trigger reset. Get on that trigger reset. Prep that trigger. After your first shot, prep that trigger for the second shot. Crack the second shot, prep it again for the next shot. Maybe you're not going to take that shot, but you were prepped if you absolutely had to take another shot. There is so much to it, and you can just build. Okay, then you can, once you get that down, it's get off the X, get left, get right, go straight back. All kinds of stuff that you can do. All kinds of stuff that you need to do. People don't think about it. If you've got to use that firearm, you got to know how to access it, get it out of the holster, get it to where you need. Maybe you carry appendix. Maybe you're not just carrying on your hip. Maybe you're carrying on the appendix. AIWB right up there in front. Well, there's certain ways to draw from there safely as well. Certain ways to draw safely from your bag. Maybe you need someone to point out the pros and cons of how and where you carry. Maybe you're going to carry on your ankle. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, right? Education is the key, folks. Education is the key. So I encourage everyone, get out there, learn how to draw, learn how to shoot, learn that trigger prep, learn that trigger reset, learn all that stuff. It's very, very important. Whether you learn it from me or someone else, just go out and learn it. There's so much out there. So much out there to learn. A lot of people try to learn stuff way too fast, too, by the way. I want to throw that out there. They'll go take class after class after class after class. You know what? Go take a good class. Learn something. Just because you take the class and you've learned it doesn't mean you're done right there. You're done with the class. Go and practice that. Put that stuff into action. Get proficient at it. When you get proficient of that, go find another class and build on it, right? You don't want to take one class on this and then all of a sudden take the next class a week later, right? Because you need time to build. You need time to master that skill that you learned in that first class. Then you can add the next skill to that. It's a process, right? It doesn't happen overnight. So you got to learn how to build and put all those skills together. So, for example, if you know the basic fundamentals, great. If you know trigger reset, trigger prep, all that stuff, fantastic. Recoil management, fantastic. Grip, all that stuff, fantastic. Now you add in the draw. So not only are you learning the draw and all the little minute details of the draw, you then still have to use the fundamentals, the grip, the trigger reset, the trigger, all that stuff, side act with all that stuff. You've got to pile that in on top of your new skill. Then you have to master it all together. When you get it all together, then you can add something else. You have to build it slowly. That's the way that it works. You don't build a house by starting with the shingles. Doesn't work that way. You got to lay the foundation. You got to pour that foundation, right? After the foundation, you got to put up those. I mean, I don't build houses, so maybe I'm getting this out of order, but you'll understand what I'm saying. You got to put in the foundation. You then have to add the walls and stud up the walls. And then after that, you can put the trusses on. After the trusses, you can then put the sheeting on, the roof sheeting. Then you can put the shingles on. And then you can sheet in the walls. All that stuff. It is a process. Stuff happens in an order. That's the way that it needs to be. So that's my little rant on training, and I'm going to be real loud here for a minute, and I'm going to take a drink because my throat is dry. Okay, now that everyone heard that, which I'm not going to apologize because, to be honest with you, it's just me here. It is what it is. I'm not an editing Nazi by any means. I will not look for that little. Look at that. I'm going to write it down. That happened at 1938. I'm going to go back, and I'm not going to do that. So let's talk about other things, stuff I'm seeing, right? I know I'm a couple weeks off on a couple things, so some of the stuff I'm going to talk about may have been big news a couple weeks ago, but we're going to talk about it now because here I am. Reloading supplies and ammo and guns, I feel like they're coming back. Now, I've had people argue with me the opposite, but I feel like they're starting to slowly leak in. I know we've mentioned on here before, on one of the last podcasts that we did, the ammo prices are starting to come down. I'm seeing it. Now, they're not down to 14 cents a round, but they're not at 80 cents a round anymore either. It's starting to loosen up. I've talked to some people in different stores, and they are getting ammo in, and it is still going relatively quickly, but when they get it in, they are getting in more ammo at one time. There's a store in particular that I don't give my business to here in town for other reasons, but someone went in there, and they do like to price gouge, but someone went in there and said they had a whole shelf full of all kinds of ammo, all the ammo that you could ever want. And they were just full of ammo, and they said they weren't having any trouble getting it. Another guy in town that fills his store up with ammo or tries to says ammo's coming back. He actually had some 30-06 and some 308 and some 6.5 Creedmoor and stuff like that in stock, stuff you haven't seen in quite a while. It is starting to get easier to come in, easier to come by, and the price is coming down. If there's a place that jacked up the prices are starting to come down. In another store that I went into, one that my buddy Mark works at. You probably remember Mark. We call him the gunslinger here on the podcast. He joins me every now and then. He's actually at his daughter's graduation party. Congratulations to his daughter for graduating, and that's a big milestone. But the store that he works at, they were down to and just in their hand, I'm not looking to talk about their rifles or shotguns, but in their handguns, they were down to where they'd only have a dozen guns in there now. Last time I was in there, they had 25 guns, 30 guns. They're still selling them, and they're still selling a lot at a time, but they're able to keep more and more guns in their display cases and on the shelves and in their back room in stock, right? And so I think it is starting to loosen up a little bit. I did talk to someone else who has a pawn shop, and he's saying that people are starting to bring in guns, and they're starting to sell their used guns that have never been, they're new, right? They bought them. They never fired them. I think bills and the times and taxes and everything else is starting to catch up to people. And so now they're bringing in the guns that they hoarded, that they bought a bunch of and panic bought, and they're starting to let them go as well. And you get them back into the system. And overall, that's going to start affecting prices. It's going to start affecting all kinds of stuff. I think you're really going to start to see stuff loosen up over the next few months. Fingers crossed. At least that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. I've still got a relatively decent supply of ammo. I want to go buy some more. I want to buy some more reloading stuff, but I've been kind of holding out. I'm not paying ridiculous prices for it, and I'm sick of actually hunting for it now. I just want to be able to go into my store and get the ammo. So I'm hoping everything is going to level off and get back to normal pretty soon. So what else? Oh, Monday. I'm looking forward to this Monday. About the time most of you will probably be listening to this podcast. I actually got an email from a gentleman him and his family are coming up to the lovely state of Idaho. They're coming from Hawaii. They are up here on vacation, and while they're in town, they want to take some gun safety classes and shoot some handguns and learn what they're doing. And so it's him and his wife and their whole family, and they're coming over to do this. And I'm pretty honored, right? I'm sure it's just Google, I'm sure. But someone in Hawaii found my little business, my humble little business here, and they have decided that while they're in the state, while they're in my area, they want to take some classes from me. I'm pretty excited about that. That'll be kind of fun. Talk to them about the gun laws and different things down there. That'll be absolutely fantastic. So you'll get a full report on that. Trust me, I will. I won't let you guys down. So what else do we got here? I'm taking an online class, and it's not like an online college class. It's actually an online shooting class. Really awesome concept. I don't know if I'm just been living under a rock, but it's really kind of a cool concept. And we watch videos, and we have to go do drills and report back. It's a pretty interesting thing. And during this, I'm learning about the different levels of. I should have probably put this at the beginning. I'm all over the board today, folks. That's just the way I am, right? I kind of forgot I actually wanted to include this. But they talked about the different levels of competence. and the different levels of competence in mastering any skill, but they obviously are talking about shooting. So I'm gonna talk to you about these. Just kind of touch on them really quick, so you know what they are. I found it fascinating, really, and I actually found it fascinating because it's what I see. You have what we call unconscious incompetence. That's when you don't know what you don't know. Everyone's been there, right? Or everyone knows someone who is there, or whatever. You don't know what you don't know. When it comes to firearms, this can be dangerous. So what it is you're out at the shooting range with your buddies. You don't know what you don't know, but guess what? Your buddies are there, and you think you know it all, right? That can be dangerous. We got to be open to the fact that we don't know what we don't know, and you're just beginning. So you have this unconscious incompetence, but you think you know everything. So then the next level would be what they call conscious incompetence. You understand what you don't know, and you're wanting to better your skills. So I've gone through all these, right? Gone through all these personally in my life. And whether it be firearms or some other crazy skill, or, well, for example, I like to run, so I'm going to liken it to running, right? I don't know what I don't know. Then I start asking questions. I start doing a little studying and some research. Then I understand what I don't know, and I understand what I'm doing wrong. And then I decide I want to better my skills, and so I research how to do that, whether that's take a class, whether that's go out and train, practice, whatever it is, right? The next level is what we call conscious competence. It's where you are starting, I won't say you've mastered the skill, but you're learning the skill. You're good enough to where you can execute that skill. But while you're executing that skill, outside distractions can cause you to lose focus while performing it, right? So when you shoot, when I'm shooting, I'm focusing, right? I'm focusing on trigger press. I'm focusing on everything. I know how to do it. I can do it. But outside distractions will cause me to lose focus, okay? It's still not ingrained in your subconscious mind, okay? And we're looking for it to be ingrained in our subconscious mind. That's how we want it. We're able to develop that neural pathway, so we just pick it up and we do it without thinking about it. So the next level is subconscious competence. You can perform a skill without thinking about it. The skill is owned by your subconscious mind. That's great. If you've achieved that level, that is absolutely fantastic. Someone can say, do something, and you can just do it without thinking about it because you've done it so many times. You've got those neural pathways all put together, all right? It's owned by your subconscious mind. You can just do it. I never thought that I would be like this, but if someone said, hey, Todd, and I do it all the time when I have my long run weekends, which is occasionally, Todd, go out and run 7 miles. Todd, go out and run 15 miles. I can just go and do it. I don't have to think about it anymore. I know I can do it. I've trained. I've kept my skill level up. I've kept my cardio up. My legs are good. I know what I need to do. I just go out and do it. I know I can do it. So the next level is the top level, and that's called level 1 awareness. You are performing a skill subconsciously, but you're aware of everything and every step. You can describe each exact moment of that process. So not only are you performing it without thinking about it, you're performing it subconsciously, but you're aware of everything and every step. You know exactly what to do, when when it's taking place. You are so attuned to what you're doing that you're not just going through the motions that you know how to do, but you can explain every last detail of it. It's almost like you're performing it, but you're watching it, and you can explain how to do everything. That's the level that we want. That's the level that we want with firing, with trigger press, with drawing the firearm, with acquiring the target. We want to master all those, right? We want to get to that top level, but it takes patience. It takes practice. It takes dedication. It can take sacrifice, a little sacrifice of time. If this is what you want, go out and earn it. Go out and practice and get it. It's not just going to come to you for free, and that's what it takes. So I just wanted to leave everyone with that little tidbit, right? When you're thinking about shooting, when you're thinking about learning how to use your firearm and draw the firearm, the stuff's not going to come to you overnight. It takes a lot of practice. Build those neural pathways, right? Build those neural pathways, create them, and continue to train, and it'll be there. It'll be slick, right? It'll always be there for you. As long as you keep training, it will degrade over time if you don't use it. But you can master this. You can master these skills. It just takes time and effort. So there you go. Go out and shoot. Sign up for a class. Get after it, right? If that's what you want to do and you want to know how to draw properly, do it. Just go out and do it. It's not going to, you're not going to wake up one day and it's going to be done, right? You got to put your time and you got to put effort into it. That you can liken that to all kinds of stuff in life. Shooting, starting a small business, you got to work hard. You might have good times and bad times, but you'll get there if you just keep trying. To sports, to running, to baseball, to whatever it is, right? You got to chase it down. You got to earn it. You got to work for it. So, okay, so let's say we've done enough. Let's say we've done enough small talk. That's what I'm going to say. I think we've done enough small talk for now. We'll kind of get into the goods of it, but first we got a little ad that we are going to play, and here you go.
So seriously, don't laugh at me, but I got myself a little .22 pistol, and it has to be one of my favorite guns to shoot. One, the ammo is still pretty cheap if you can find it, and two, it's just a quick little gun. Now again, don't laugh. Even with my little .22, I tend to have a bit of a flinch. Yeah, I know, right? The least intimidating gun on the planet, except maybe an airsoft gun, makes me flinch. So I've been taking classes with Todd at Patriot Defense. We're working on my flinch, and it's almost completely gone. And he didn't judge me at all. He personalized my class for me, while he also helped Riker with some more in-depth things because he is a way more seasoned shooter than I am. I love Riker, but sometimes trying to have him teach me things is just bad for our relationship. Todd's been absolutely amazing. Judgment-free, tailored classes, and above all, safe. I've taken a few classes with him now, including my CCW. So whether you're a veteran or a novice shooter, you really should go to PatriotDefense13.com and get a hold of Todd. You'll walk away knowing way more than you ever thought possible.
There you go. And I like to talk. You'll get some good stories from me as well. No, that is Courtney, and she has actually come and taken quite a few classes from me, and she is on her game. She came to me with an absolutely horrible flinch, just like she described in there, and we got her all fixed up, and her and her boyfriend are due to come back out for some more lessons. We've got them scheduled. We're just waiting for the day to get here. So lots of fun. It's great to get stuff like that and hear that from people who have taken my classes. I really do appreciate the feedback. So I'm a couple weeks behind. Actually, I think about 6 days behind or something like that. But there are some there were some hearings, right? I don't know what they're called. I'm not into some of this, but there were some hearings that they were questioning the new head of the ATF, the new ATF nominee, David Chipman. And I'm sure we've all kind of heard these, and I'm going to play this one out for just a little bit, and we will discuss it. But he is being asked some questions by Tom Cotton. Now remember, this is going to be, they want this to be the new head of the ATF, and I can't even look at this guy talk. Why is it that all the people that irritate me, I can't stand to like even watch them on video talk? I just want to like slap their faces or strangle their necks, or anyhow, that's just me. But we'll play this. You guys can take a listen.
Turn to a second matter now, Mr. Chipman. You have called for an assault weapons ban. I have a simple question for you. What is an assault weapon?
Senator, an assault weapon would be, in the context of the question you asked, what Congress defines it as.
So you're asking us to ban assault weapons. We have to write legislation. Can you tell me what is an assault weapon? How would you define it if you were the head of the ATF? How have you defined it over the last several years as your role as a gun control advocate?
Senator, if I'm confirmed as ATF director, my recollection is the only process by which ATF has weighed in is that I know there's a Demand Letter 3 program, which requires multiple sale reports on the southwestern border. And ATF in that program has defined an assault rifle as any semi-automatic rifle capable of accepting a detachable magazine above the caliber of .22, which would include a .223, which is, largely the AR-15 round.
So you believe that every weapon that takes a detachable magazine that can take a .22 round or 5.56 in the military parlance should be defined as an assault weapon?
Let me clarify. What I believe I just said is any semi-automatic rifle.
Any semi-automatic rifle.
He doesn't know what he just said. He only believes what he just said. Let me clarify that for you. It's what I believe I said. You don't even know what you said. Your definition makes no sense. You have no idea. It took you 20 minutes to freaking get there. I mean, it's like, today, Junior, spit it out.
What?
That's the definition. A detachable magazine that takes a 5.56 or 22 round should be defined as an assault weapon.
Senator, you asked me if ATF had used this term, and I was sharing with you my knowledge of a program in which ATF has defined this term. And it is in the Demand Letter 3 program, and that rifle is a semi-automatic rifle capable of accepting a detachable magazine with a round greater than a .22 caliber. And in those cases, firearms dealers on the southwest border are required to make a multiple sale report to ATF.
I know it's not happening, but I kind of feel like there's like someone is standing up behind Tom Cotton, where Tom Cotton, the guy asking the questions, can't see, and he's like they're holding up flashcards for this guy because telling him what to say, because at first it's like the guy holding the flashcards was behind, because at first it was like I don't know, let me, and then all of a sudden he got a little smoother, right? But then again, it just sounds he's not even giving his definition. He's reading something. He's not reading something, but he's reciting something, and it sounds like he's reading it.
I'm amazed that might be the definition of assault weapon. That would basically cover every single modern sporting rifle in America today. Let me put it this way. If I wanted to buy an assault weapon, and I walked into Walmart or Cabela's or some other firearm dealers, and I looked up on the wall where they were labeling their weapons, would there be a label on the wall for assault weapon?
I don't believe, Senator, and thank you for this question, that the firearms industry has used the term assault rifle in their marketing since there was a ban on it. It was after that they changed their use of the term assault rifle to the modern sporting rifle.
Well, so I've been in Walmarts and I've been in Cabela's, and I've seen that you can find sections for pistols or handguns or for shotguns or for rifles, because those are actual kinds of firearms.
As far as I know, you've never been able to walk into a store and see a sign for assault rifle, because what they are considering assault rifle is not an assault rifle. An AR-15 is not an assault rifle. An AR-15, like anybody should know, stands for Armalite rifle. That is the manufacturer that created the rifle, 15 being the model number. It just kills me, man. Assault rifle was propaganda, was put out there by the media, by the left, to create fear when anyone sees or thinks of an AR-15. And it just, the term assault rifle, AR, it just seems to match up with AR. Go figure, that was a coincidence, right? Planned. AR, assault rifle. And so I've never gone, and I would laugh if I worked at a gun store and someone came and said, I want to buy an assault rifle. I'll say, well, we don't sell assault rifles here. Go somewhere else, man. I've had to correct people in class when they talk about assault rifles. Even people who are pro 2A, right? It's so ingrained in us. You hear that term all the time, assault rifle. There are no assault rifles. That's not a type of rifle. It drives me nuts.
I think our exchange here illustrates that there really is no such thing as an assault weapon. That is a term that was manufactured by liberal lawyers and pollsters in Washington to try to scare the American people into believing that the government should confiscate weapons that are wildly popular for millions of Americans to defend themselves and their families and their homes.
Absolutely correct. I'm glad he pointed that out. This whole thing, I watched a couple of these, and I got one more clip of this guy. This is the ATF, the head guy for the ATF. David Chipman is his name. You need to go onto YouTube. I'll play you another clip, but you need to go onto YouTube and you need to find these clips. You need to listen. This is the guy, man. This is the guy that stood proudly at Waco. He was there on Waco. I don't know if he headed the thing up or not. I don't know if the Cajun Cowboy was here. He could correct me. But he's got a picture of him standing on the ashes at Waco. He is proud of that picture. Absolutely ridiculous. This next clip, though, that I have, I mean, the guy's just complete trash. But this next clip I have is the same guy, ATF nominee, head ATF nominee, David Chipman, being asked a question by John Kennedy. And John Kennedy is not as it's not as nice as Tom Cotton. I love it. I think this is a great little clip. So here you go.
Question of Mr. Chipman. Who's Mr. Chipman? You're nominated for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms and explosives and all kind of other dangerous stuff. Is that right?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. You don't believe in private ownership of handguns, do you?
That's incorrect. I own one myself.
Do you? Do you believe in private ownership of assault weapons?
Yes,
What do you
sir.
own, by the way?
That's a pretty private question.
That's a pretty private question. What do you own? The ATF knows what the hell I own. They know what I freaking buy, and if they tell me they don't, they're lying through their crooked teeth. I mean, that's a pretty private question. Why would I? Why? I don't want to tell you that. I don't want to tell you what I own. That. Why are you digging into the firearms I own? Remember, people, he is going to be one of the elite. When you are up there, you are one of the elite. The laws don't apply to you. They just apply to the little people. They apply to the minions, not the elite. He is one of the elite. He's going to be able to pretty much do what he wants to do, really. If he's one of the guys in there enforcing the laws, he's going to be one of the elite. And you think he's going to protect those who put him in. He's going to protect people like Nancy Pelosi. He's going to protect those kinds of people that when they come and they try and take all your firearms, if they ever succeed, which I don't think they will, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But if they did, he would be the one that would look the other way, because the elite are all going to be protected by guns. They're all going to be protected by security. They're going to be protected by those things, but they want to take those from you because you are the little people. You are the minions. You are the nobodies, right? They put a fence and they have the National Guard troops around the Capitol building. Right? They're scared of you. They want to disarm you so they can move on with life. They can do what they want to do. And they are trying very, very, very hard to do so. Let's get back to this clip here before I rant much longer.
I have I'll share the gun I'm proudest of. It's a Smith & Wesson Treasury commemorative gun, and the serial number is my birth date.
Oh, that's cool.
Special.
Congratulations. Do you believe in banning assault weapons?
I love that. Well, that's cool. Congratulations. Now, do you believe in banning assault weapons? Let's get back to my original question. Absolutely fantastic.
I do, sir.
Okay. Define assault weapons.
Assault weapons would be something that members of Congress would define.
Well, how do you define it? You're going to be running the agency.
Senator, I think this is a good question. If I am confirmed as ATF director,
I got 35 seconds left. Define it for me.
Today,
please,
Junior,
sir?
spit it out.
What's an assault weapon?
Yeah, Senator, the bill to ban assault weapons
what is your
dozens of
definition of an
pages. There's
assault
no way I could define an assault weapon.
You don't have any. You're going to run this agency, and you don't have a definition of assault weapon.
Exactly.
But I would be enforcing the
none.
definition that members
Yeah,
of
but you're
Congress
going to be
passed.
issuing rules and regulations. Just give me your definition.
I'll give you one definition that ATF
Give me your
currently
definition.
uses. One definition that ATF currently
Give me your
uses.
definition.
I can give you one definition.
If you won't
that
answer
ATF
my
currently
question, how can I vote for you?
At this point, I think the guy with the cards that I'm pretty sure that he was holding up for him, I think he probably stepped out maybe to use the restroom or something. I'm not sure, but this ain't going well for him.
For you. I'm done, Mr. Chairman. I don't think I'm going to get an answer.
So there you go. That's going to be, hopefully not, but that's going to be our new head ATF guy. That's the head ATF nominee, the leader, the boss, the big man in charge, David Chipman. Look him up. Look at his history. Find that picture. I should find it, and I should post it up on my Patriot Defense Facebook page, which if you're not on that page, you should run and you should like it right now. Follow me there. I sure appreciate it. All the social medias. I'm also on Instagram. But if I can find that picture of him proudly standing on the ashes of the people that they burned to death at Waco, I can find that really easily. I know I can. And I will find it and I will post it up because this is the man. He is the man. He wants you to think he is the shit. He is the top dog. The dude can't even answer a freaking question. Are you kidding me? This is what we have to look forward to. But okay. Pay attention to that. He's quite entertaining, actually, to listen to. If I hear anything else, I will throw it up there. And I may be a week behind. I'm not sure. We'll see. So there's another guy that I watch, and I will, he doesn't know me, and I don't know him, obviously. I'm just a little nobody over here in the middle of nowhere, Idaho. But I listen to this guy, follow this guy on YouTube, and I like this guy because he thinks outside of the box, right? And he doesn't just repeat the same thing over and over and over and over again. That's kind of why I like him. And he's not afraid to run with his own hunches or run with his own ideas. And the YouTube channel is called Langley. I think it's called Langley Outdoors Academy, and I really like it. He released this one a few weeks back. It was on May 14th, so yeah, I'm a little bit behind on it. But I watched it a few times, and I have to say I do have to agree with it. He talks about how he's looking at everything. He doesn't think it's what's going on is the way the left wants it to when they're coming after firearms. He thinks that they're losing steam. He thinks that there's not as much support for it, and I tend to agree. And he thinks that they are trying to rally the troops. And there actually was a study that came out that he'll talk about it, but it's like in the age demographic, like around 30 years old, they're losing those people. Those are the people that are buying firearms. Even people on the left that age are buying firearms. They're not against owning firearms. They're not against that. And so they're losing their demographic because that's their key demographic is those people. But he's kind of got about a 5 or 6 minute deal here. I'm going to play it. Got it set up on pause. So I will comment when I need to, but I think you guys need to listen to this. And I think this guy is actually on to something now. But this coming from me, I always like to be a little optimistic. I always like to sit back and look at it all and figure it out and listen to what people have to say and make my own. Well, I'm using his conclusion, but I mean, I like it. I like where he's going with this. I don't want to be doom and gloom all the time. So if I think of something that makes sense, or I find something that makes sense, I like to explore it a little bit. So here you go. I'll play this back for you.
All right. So to catch you guys up, if you didn't see yesterday's video, basically, they came out and they did a parody where they insulted Second Amendment supporters, gun owners, basically Americans across the board, if you believe in the Second Amendment. And if you believe in the right to defend yourself via the Second Amendment, you're not good. So they demeaned people, they made fun of people, they condescended to people. They did a lot of things that are very typical, but something bothered me. The groups that partnered with them on this project, Samantha Bee's show Full Frontal, which I referenced, all three major gun group presence in the United States. You've got Giffords.org, Everytown USA, and now on the same clip, you've got Moms Demand Action.
So that would be the We Three Kings. That is the mighty trio right there.
Now, why would those three independent parties partner with Samantha Bee, whose audience is mainly left-wing? Significantly, she's been on the NRA ad campaigns against her. Okay, so she's a well-known anti-Second Amendment supporter or advocate. So why would they partner with her if they're trying to bring more people to their cause? Does that make sense? That's how I'm trying to set this up.
So what he's saying, and I'll help him here, is why would those people who are trying to bring people to their cause of being against firearms and firearms violence and we need to control this, why would they go on someone's show who it's a left-leaning show, so they have left people on the left, listen to it and they mainly listen to it. Why would they all go on there and support that? Shouldn't they be going out trying to convince other people firearms are bad, you need to come to our side? Why go and preach to a bunch of anti-gun, non-Second Amendment supporters, like this? Why do that? And he goes in to explain why.
It didn't make sense why they would do it, because if you're trying to bring more people to your cause for gun control, you would target the middle. You would not target the left, which Samantha Bee, that's her clientele. Now, when you look at it from this perspective, it kind of starts to make sense. You guys know from this channel, we covered how there is new polls coming out that the younger demographic is resisting new legislation on gun control because it's not going to work. 18 to 30, they're pulling away. They had a 20-point decline in 3 years. And that worries the left because that's their core voting demographic. You tracking with me? Now, if that makes sense, it kind of starts to put into perspective why they went with Samantha Bee's show targeting a captive audience of the left. And listen to the messaging and let me know when you pick out what they did here, because this is huge, guys. I think this is huge. So here's the first clip, and I'm going to analyze it. We're going to get into it.
I know the gun issue can seem totally overwhelming, but there are great people out there doing amazing things. You just have to know where to look.
It seems overwhelming. The gun thing is overwhelming. Why would it be overwhelming? You have the House, the Senate, and the White House. I thought you had a mandate from the American people. Why would you feel like you didn't have the ability to do this, that it was overwhelming in any way? That was the first thing that kind of set me up. That was kind of weird. But now let's go to the next one and check this one out.
Okay, I'll be honest. I don't actually know where to find hope. Oh, maybe the person on the other end of this phone knows how to fight the gun lobby. Hello?
Hi, Sam. It's Shannon Watts from Moms.
Shannon Watts from Moms Demand Action. That's so weird. One of the main anti-gun groups in the United States. Right after Samantha Bee said, I don't have any way to find any hope for you. Again, she's speaking to her left-wing audience. Now, let's keep going and check out the theme as it comes along. Okay, so far, you've had alignment from Samantha Bee that says, I'm overwhelmed and you're overwhelmed too. Then you have, I can't find any hope. And then Moms Demand Action CEO calls in to the show. Okay, now look what she says next.
We're not only larger than the NRA, we're the largest grassroots movement in gun violence prevention and one of the largest in.
Oh, so now you're the largest in the gun movement and one of the largest gun control advocacy groups in the country. So now you're starting to see it was overwhelmed. Then where can we find hope? Then Moms Demand Action comes in, and now there's hope introduced. Then they must have watched my show because look what they did about a week and a half after I did it. She's introducing a project.
Hadley Place TV doing here?
The city is funding a program now, and the people who are participating in it are called violence interrupters.
Violence interrupters? Tell me everything.
They also go to high crime areas, and they watch.
Isn't that interesting? Because we covered that on the show about a week and a half ago. So that's the point here, guys. They see the polls dropping. They see that they're losing the middle and their key voting demographics of 18 to 30. This whole little partnership, again, all the main gun control groups in the United States are partnering with Samantha Bee to a captive left-wing audience. They are trying to reassure and realign their base. They're trying to get the left aligned back behind them. Guys, this is no longer they're losing support. I legitimately think that they are losing interest from their left wing, that it's never going to happen. Amen, by the way. But do you guys see that? This entire clip came out of nowhere. Like, this whole show came out of nowhere. And for the main 4 gun groups to jump on board, or really 3 gun groups to jump on board this heavy, to go through the host saying she's overwhelmed, there's no hope, how do we find hope? Moms Demand Action comes in, starts bragging they're bigger than the NRA and the gun lobby. And then she starts talking about violence prevention programs. They are trying to encourage the left wing to keep the fight up because they're losing momentum. Guys, this is huge. Let me know if you see it the way I see it, if you think that I'm onto something, because I want to know what you guys think about this, because I think this is a bellwether.
I really, really, really do. It's like they're, it's like they're, oh, what's that? I can't even think of the phrase, but I do think they're losing. I think they're losing momentum. I really do. I mean, they should have. I mean, they came into this strong. Why didn't they pass anything? Why haven't they passed anything huge yet? I mean, what is? I mean, we haven't even heard about anything for a little while, right? I mean, I know they're always doing stuff that you're not able to see, but it just seems to me like they're almost like they're losing interest, right? And why are they losing interest? Because I believe, like this gentleman does from the Langley Outdoors YouTube channel, that I think they've lost interest. They're losing support. They're losing support, and they know it. Now they're going to go chase down other things. Now, I'm not saying that we need to just relax, sit back on our haunches, and go, that was close. We need to pay attention, right? We need to pay attention. They're obviously still working at it, and they're going back to their base, trying to reinvigorate their base. And you know, that's what they're doing. So we need to stay focused on that. We need to reinvigorate our base and stay invigorated and fight this, right? That's what we need to do. But I don't know, this would be something to watch. This guy, I'm not saying he's right or he's wrong, but he intrigues me, and I can kind of see where he's coming from. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I sure can, and I just wanted to throw it out there so you guys could take a listen as well. But I tell you what, this has been almost an hour-long podcast with just me. That's pretty good. And maybe I was a little more organized here than I thought. But I do appreciate you listening. I'm sorry that I wasn't on YouTube Live tonight. So if you normally watch it, you're going to have to listen to it. Hopefully you subscribe to both. If you listen to it and you don't watch YouTube, I get that. But if you could do me a favor and you want to jump over to YouTube and you want to subscribe to the Patriot Defense YouTube channel, that would be much appreciated. I will try to maybe stick the link in the show notes. I'm not sure. I'll see if I can figure out how to get that done. If you got any questions, if you got any comments, let me know. You can call me. You can text me, area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. You can always shoot me an email, and I have adjusted my email addresses a little bit. It used to be patriotdefense13.com, and I still check that. Sometimes I miss some of them, so they should forward themselves, but you know how technology works. So go ahead and you can email me at info, that's INFO, info at patriotdefense13.com. That's info at patriotdefense13.com, and I will listen to what you have to say. I'll respond. I know I've got a few requests for a few upcoming shows, and one of them is going to take a little bit of work, and I will jump on that. I'm thinking I'll go ahead and do it. I just got to find a little time and put it all together. But like always, I am so thankful for you guys' support. Share the podcast, share the YouTube live videos, or at least the last one that I did. I do appreciate that. Like I said, I do appreciate the support. Do me a favor. Go out and go out and shoot. Go out and practice. Go out and train. If it be with me, that's absolutely fantastic. If it's not, that's okay as well. Just go out. It's time to fire some ammo. It's time to redevelop those skills or polish up those skills and get back after it. Summer is just beginning. It's going to be a good summer. Stay busy, stay safe, and I will see you back here next weekend. Thank you. Bye.